everybody. I got a little tired of doing inventory and verifying various things and rescanning a bunch of the PlayStation 2 games because I'm trying to better organize my storage solution. So I just figured, I'm going to take a break from that and create a quick video sharing some of my tips and tricks in regards to shipping some of the various items I sell on ebay.ca, so eBay Canada. First and foremost, my name is Graham. I'm with Canadian Brick Cafe. I sell various things from video games, DVDs, Blu-rays, HD DVDs, Laserdiscs, VHS tapes, pretty much anything and everything. If I can make a buck off of it, I'll most likely pick it up to resell on eBay. So I just wanted to share a few of my some tidbits of information that I found useful that would have been nice to have when I first started selling on eBay. So I just wanted to share. So when you first start out, obviously you're not going to be selling a lot of stuff. So your home inkjet printer or your home laser printer will probably be more than enough to print shipping labels. But as you get bigger and bigger and you sell more and more things, you'll start to realize really fast that the cost of ink cartridges and toner is very costly, as well as the cost of paper and the fact that you have to tape the labels down to your package, which again adds more weight to the actual package and could bump you into the next shipping grade after you've already printed the label. So if you can, I highly recommend getting yourself a thermal printer. I use a Zebra it's a Zebra GX 420D. It's this guy right here. And I can buy labels which are right back here in the thousands, and it just feeds into the printer and just spits it out. This thing doesn't need ink, doesn't need toner. It's a thermal printer, so it really heats the sheet up. And it's quite fast and quite reliable. So let me just open up my notepad here, and I'll just quickly print off a few examples here. Some things that I actually put on all my packages. So let me open up my URL thing here. Make sure I go to page setup, landscape. Alright, that will be good enough. So one thing I generally put on a lot of my packages, at least the glare mail stuff, is, like obviously besides the label, it'll be like a thing on the back that I usually put for like my URLs to my eBay store, my Facebook page, as well as my YouTube channel, which is still quite small. It also says thanks for your support and please do not bend or fold package. So I'm just going to quickly show you here how fast my Zebra printer is. This printer can be connected to either your network via wireless or via wired connection, as well as USB. Right now this is connected to my home network over wireless, so I can pretty much put this anywhere. I could put this on the other side of the room on a shelf somewhere and it would work just as good. I just keep it right next to my desk because that's where I generally do a lot of my shipping. So I want to say print this, and let's we'll print off 20. Since I use these labels and I end up printing them all the time anyway, or I'm just going to print 20 right now. So over my wireless network, as you can see, it pretty much sends it instantly. And it can print quite fast with no issues. Alright, so let's just start folding these up so I can put them away. So that way when I do need them, I can just go into my little shelf and pull them out. And obviously once it's done printing, you can literally just tear it off. So we really just printed these. So it prints relatively fast. I've never had any jamming issues. The only issue I've had is with the paper itself. Sometimes it'll get caught up on some of the cables I have back here when it starts getting low. So you've got to be careful to make sure there's lots of space so that it can freely get the labels without start to peel a label off and then it'll get caught up in the printer. There are more ways to ship various packages depending what you're trying to sell, and there's no one right solution. Personally, the majority of the items I sell are within the means of being able to ship via oversized letter mail with Canada Post within Canada. And a lot of the time, what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to price my items so that includes the cost of the letter mail shipping, so that I can just say free shipping on eBay, which will help entice potential buyers. When they see free shipping, they see one price. All they have to worry about is the taxes or whatever that eBay charges. Obviously, when shipping things, bulk mailers work great. These are just the eBay branded ones that I get with my coupon code every quarter. There's also other things I use to ship are CD mailers like this for various loose discs, whether it be DVDs, CDs, and so forth. Let's see here. For shipping scale, I just use this Dymo scale right here, and I got a little cheat sheet over here which I can glance at for reference to how much postage I have to put on the actual package. And of course I have to update that every year because Canada Post always jacks up the rates every year pretty much. Various items, obviously some larger items can't be shipped via letter mail, obviously, so you'll have to use a parcel service. Canada Post has expedited parcel as well as regular parcel. The main difference between regular parcel and expedited parcel is one is fully tracked with insurance, the other is not. The other may have a tracking number showing that Canada Post has received it, but generally it's not a fully tracked parcel. At least that's from my personal experience. Canada Post does have various sizes of prepaid mailer boxes. I keep a small selection of them around, but I generally use these small ones. I don't generally use the larger ones that much. I keep a few of them around just because sometimes it's just more convenient. So I don't have to, use a $7 or $8 box and then pay for postage. I can just use something like that and just make sure it's well packed. The prepaid mailer boxes, you can fit up to 5 kilograms of weight per box. As long as it fits and you can seal it up, generally the shipping is no problem. But you want to make sure it's not bulging or anything like that. When it comes to oversized letter mail, I do find that having one of these is quite handy. I did buy it from Canada Post directly, but you can create your own. There are templates you can download to essentially make your own out of a piece of cardboard. I did find that the cardboard wasn't nearly as good because there would be too much flex in it, and sometimes the package would be too big and would be returned back to me. So I found that getting something like this was so much better. And this way, if it can fit through this top slot here for oversized letter mail, I know I can generally put a couple stamps on, and I can send it on its way without any issues, as long as it's under 500 grams and 2 centimeters thick. Which, for the most part, is the majority of all the DVDs, CDs, Blu-rays, and so forth, or Lego minifigures, Lego poly bags that I sell. Obviously, you want to make sure you have a good, accurate tape measure, an X-Acto knife. This is the one I got from Lonnie over at Shed Flips. One nice thing about this particular knife is that it's got a resizing tool on the bottom of it, so when I do have to get a box to ship something, I can cut it, not really cut it, but help score the sides of the box so I can fold it down to shrink its overall dimensions and ship it for generally a cheaper price than, say, the unresized box. With Canada Post, they do charge by the shipping dimensions as well as the shipping weight. So you want to be careful of that, and that's why I say, an accurate scale, accurate tape measure are going to be key, because if it's over or over the certain size and dimensions or weight that you put down for your shipping label, it will be sent back to you for insufficient postage, which is never fun because that causes delays in getting that order to the customer. Few are things I keep around me just so I can spruce things up if I miss something while I was taking pictures or something like that. I keep a bottle of Goo Gone essentially next to me so that I can try to remove any stickers or sticker residue or scuff marks which can't be removed with simple Windex or glass cleaner. Having some J-cloths handy they can get from the dollar store is also a good idea, as well as like Lysol wipes. During COVID initially I had a whole bunch of these. I'd wipe every single thing down with Lysol wipes just to make sure that I didn't spread any potential COVID or anything like that around. Let's see here. When it comes to shipping, say you were going to ship a video game. Obviously I have quite a few games that I'm currently in the process of relisting to eBay. Let's find one with a manual here. When it comes to shipping a video game or a DVD, in this example, you don't want to ship the disc inside the holder of the case. And by holder I mean this type thing here. You don't want to be shipping the disc just simply in here because it's going to get turned around and potentially jumped out or knocked loose and get damaged. So generally what I do with the majority of all my DVDs, Blu-rays, video games, stuff like that, is I put them in these white paper sleeves. You can buy these like by the 100 or by the 1,000 or by the case. Various places like Alibaba and AliExpress if you don't mind waiting a few months to get them, or you can find a local reseller to pick them up. I generally buy mine from eBay directly, not eBay themselves, but a gentleman on eBay that I get mine from, and I buy the case just because it's cheaper. They're generally like when you buy them like by 1,000 at a time, they're under a penny each, so it's like they're good to have around. Just having a stack of them kicking around here. And generally what I would do is I would take the disc, and in the case of one with the manual, I would just slide the disc in between the manual to help give it a little additional protection. And then I would just close it up, grab my bubble mailer, throw it in there, seal it up, and then I'd ship it out to the customer. In the case of like a loose disc, I'd probably put it in between 2 sheets of cardboard and then put it into a bubble mailer. Or I could just use when I have them available, a CD mailer like this. And they're both more than accurate ways to ship loose discs. Having a tape gun is a very good thing. Not only does it save you tape, but it just makes sealing up a box or sealing up a package so much faster. It's like having a thermal printer. The printer itself will pay for itself with the amount of labels you print compared to, say, using an inkjet printer or a laser printer. Like I said earlier, if you have to use your laser printer or your inkjet printer to print off a label, not only do you have the cost of the paper, you have the cost of the ink or the toner. Plus the additional weight of taping that label to the package. With the thermal printer, they're on adhesive. They're essentially printed on the stickers. So all you have to do is peel it off and stick it on the package. So that's what I love about my thermal printer. Not only can I print from any device on my home network to it, it's fast as you saw, and it doesn't add a significant amount of weight to the package. Unlike like printing it on a laser printer, then you have to either glue it or you have to tape and hold it onto the actual package. So that's what I like about thermal printers. Plus, I can use the thermal printer to make my own labels for fragile stickers or glass inside, or in the case of some things, lead acid batteries or lithium ion batteries, you have to label that package. Otherwise, you could be held liable. So it's always nice to be able to print off my own like little labels and warnings or whatever, or requests for the couriers to clearly see when I'm shipping an item out. Let's see here. What else can I talk about? Shipping out a comic. You can get like a larger bubble mailers to ship comics, and what I would recommend doing was be taking like 2 pieces of cardboard and putting them on either side of the comic. So say I sold like this Blue Jays comic right here. What I would do is I take 2 sheets of cardboard, cut it down to size, put one on one side, one on the other side, and then I would put like a elastic band or a couple pieces of tape to hold the cardboard in place. Put it into a bubble mailer. Print off my label that would say like please do not bend or fold. And by using 2 additional sheets of cardboard on either side of the comic, it does add a little bit more weight to the actual package, but it's also one of those things where you're helping with the presentation of the item, because the customer sees that you're taking the time and the effort to actually ship things correctly and ship things in a manner that's not only respectful of the item itself, but you also want to ensure that the item arrives in a safe and secure manner, especially if you're using an untracked, uninsured shipping method. Because believe it or not, customers will say, "Hey, I never got my item. Hey, my item arrived damaged." And all I can really do is say, "Okay, send the item back to me at your expense, and I'll offer a refund." Which is one reason why I'm in the process of going through a lot of my listings and changing a lot of them to free shipping. That way I can more easily say, okay, I already provided free shipping. You can ship the item back to me. Let's see here. What else can I talk about here? I just wanted to make this quick. Yeah, a good shipping scale. In my case, I'm using a cheap Dymo, well, relatively inexpensive Dymo scale, but there's various other scales you can get. This one's relatively accurate. The one thing I don't like about this scale is that some packages I have are larger than the scale dimensions are, so I have to stumble to find the hold button, take the package off to actually be able to read the LCD. The LCD is also not backlit, so that's another issue I have with this particular scale. But other than that, it's been my go-to scale. Plus, I can easily connect it to my computer via USB to power it, or I can throw in like 4 AAA batteries to power it if I wanted to. But again, why pay for batteries if I can just plug it in with USB? Let's see here. I don't know what show I talk about here. Let me pop out the chat window here. All right, I can never remember exactly where the there it is, chat. As always, my streams are pretty empty. That's because I'm a relatively small YouTuber per se, so until I start getting a following, so please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel so you can see future videos I do, whether they be random live videos like this, or a video that I throw through DaVinci Resolve. I would use Filmora, but unfortunately they changed their licensing agreement and they're no longer honoring the package I paid for. I paid for a lifetime membership to Wondershare a few years ago, and unfortunately they've changed their services where they no longer offer that. So Wondershare is pretty much giving a big middle finger to everybody that spent $200+ on that package. So that's quite unfortunate. So I'm trying to learn how to use a program called DaVinci Resolve in order to try to spruce up my video editing skills, as well as to try to put more time into actually editing videos and making videos. Let's see here, what else did I put there? Yeah, packing tips. So when it comes to like shipping CDs and DVDs, these white paper sleeves will save you so much headache later on, trust me. If you're going to ship out a chip DVD, putting it into a penny sleeve and putting it into the top part of the case will save the disc from being popped out from the actual holder and being jostled around during shipping. So it's one way to prevent additional damage from the disc, especially once you've taken the time to actually polish a disc, test a disc. So ship with penny sleeves, put it into in between the manual of the game. There's just small things you can do to show that you want to actually you ship the same way that you like to see items received yourself. If you wouldn't want to receive a scratched up disc, why would your customer? My JFJ Easy Pro, which I've shown before, has polished hundreds, if not thousands, of discs now, and it's still kicking and rocking strong. It's not nearly as good as, say, like an Eco Pro, but it's also didn't cost $6,000 whatever dollars. The price of an Eco Pro is. My JFJ, I think I got it for like $200 off of eBay, and I love it. It's not perfect by any means, but it's definitely better than not having anything at all. It allows me to polish my discs to the best of my ability before I test them and before I rip them and before I ship them. Penny sleeves will save your discs from being popped out of the case and being swishing around the entire time during shipping, which would end up resulting in scratches or other physical damage to the actual disc. Having scrap cardboard kicking around, which you can use to put on the front and the back of a comic book, is always a good idea. You can also use the same thing for individual CDs, sports cards, magic cards, Pokemon cards, or whatever if you wanted to. Having a size chart like this, make sure that your package can actually be shipped as letter mail, is always a nice thing to have. J-Cloths, Windex, Goo Gone to help remove various stickers or glue residue from stickers on various items is always nice to have. Nice box cutter with a resizing tool so that you can resize various cardboard boxes is also very handy. Let's see here. Nice sharp pair of scissors, obviously. An accurate tape measure, tape guns, and by gun I mean like this, so that when you're packing a box you can just go like this, go like that, and then cut it without wasting too much tape. Even like having various elastic bands kicking around just to help hold the cardboard on top of comics in place. Various like Lysol wipes. And this is just going to be a quick video. There are various companies out there which are cross-border shippers. Your results with them may vary. Unfortunately, my personal experience with Chit Chats Express specifically has been very poor and very negative. I haven't used Stallion Express, so I can't really speak much about their services, but it's probably going to be exactly the same for the most part as, say, Chit Chats. For me to get to either Chit Chats or Stallion's Express, the closest location to me is roughly a 3-hour round trip commute on transit. I do not have a car, so unfortunately I'd have to fill a bunch of bags, wait for the bus, go down there, drop the packages off, and then take another bus ride back, and having to since it generally takes more than an hour to get to the locations, that's 2 bus fares I'd have to pay for, which again just increases your general expenses. So generally, and that's why I mainly use Canada Post to ship everything. All my larger items or more valuable items, I use eBay's calculated shipping. and I just print my labels on my thermal printer here, and then I drop them off either at the Canada Post, which is a 15-minute walk away, versus using Chit Chats, which is like I said, a 3-hour round trip. Benefit of using Canada Post is that the insurance is paid back in Canadian dollars. Using Stallion Express or say Chit Chats, the insurance is paid out in US dollars. So then you'll most likely have to take that check to the bank, get them to convert it into Canadian dollars for a service fee, and then put that into your account. And that's another reason why I don't use Chit Chats. It's just not worth it. For the amount of items I ship to the States or overseas, or that require tracking, is plain and simply just not worth the time or effort. I could use a courier to say take a large box to these couriers to drop off, but then I have to wait until I fill up an entire box before it's worth it to get dropped off, and that will cause delays in shipping out various items. So again, I can't really do that as of yet. Once my volumes increase, that opinion may change, but for now I'd rather just use the couriers themselves, whether it be Canada Post, FedEx, or UPS directly. You can get a Venture One card, or a small business card with Canada Post, which will allow you to save a little bit of money for shipping. But from my personal experience with the amount that I ship, I haven't seen any discounts worth using the card for. It's just cheaper for me to print my labels off through eBay, because that way it just gets taken out of my eBay account when the shipment is actually delivered. And that's actually one thing I don't like about printing my labels off through eBay, is that they don't take the cost to actually print the label out of your account right away. Generally, they only take the amount out of your account once the package has been marked as delivered from the courier, which can be an unfortunate. Say you withdraw your money daily from eBay, or bi-weekly, or whatever the case may be. All of a sudden, you have like 10 packages which were all of a sudden marked as delivered. Well, the cost of the shipping labels for those 10 packages are going to be taken out of your account. So hopefully you still have the amount to cover all of those shipping label costs. Shipping within Canada is expensive, and which is why I use letter mail, or oversized letter mail, for the majority of my shipments, because it's significantly cheaper. And by significantly, we're talking like up to like 80% cheaper than paying for tracking. It's going to be seen by my feedback on eBay. Like, most people have no issues with the way I pack items. Most people have no problems with the way their items have been received. And let's face it, who wants to pay upwards of like $20 to $30 to ship, say, a Lego minifigure with a tracking number, when you can get that item shipped for like $5-6, actually less than that. Right now, I'm in the process of going through a lot of my eBay listings and just adding the cost to actually ship an item into the cost of the actual item, and then marking it as free shipping. Let's see here. I really don't know what to say for when it comes to shipping. Taking the time and effort to actually do a half decent job at actually packing your items is always best, as can be seen in some of my videos. I did purchase a lot of video games off of Whatnot, and the one guy literally just piled like cases and with games, and all the games were scratched. None of the games worked. It took me several hours of trying to polish and resurface discs to get like a couple of them to actually work. But again, that was time and effort that I shouldn't have had to done. The seller themselves should have ensured that they were actually packing in a decent manner. That seller on eBay, whatnot, was Black Magic Comics, or yeah, I think it was Black Magic Comics. Don't buy from him. He had very poor shipping, in my personal opinion. You can see that video on my YouTube channel if you wanted to check that out. But when it comes to shipping, if you wouldn't want to receive an item in that way, don't ship it that way. Ship your items the way that you would personally like to see your items received yourself. When you do that, the customer is going to be more appreciative because they're going to see that you took the time, effort, and the care to actually properly ship things. Even if it's just taking the efforts to get some penny paper sleeves to put the video discs or game discs into, and then put back into the case and tape them to the one side or put them in between the manual. It just goes a long way. But yeah, it's like you can ask 100 people what the best way to ship a specific item is, and most likely you'll get 100 different answers. I can only speak from the way that I've personally been shipping various items, and can only learn when I get feedback back from customers. Hey, you could have done this differently. Hey, you could have done this. Like various things take more time and effort to actually ship. Like, say I want to ship this copy of Highlander on Laserdisc, or a vinyl record. You don't want, by no means, put this in a bubble mailer and ship that. Obviously, you're not going to be able to find a bubble mailer that's big enough to actually fit this. But I call them pizza boxes. They're essentially record mailers. They can buy from most shipping supply companies. All World Packing here in Vancouver is one place where I buy a lot of my shipping boxes and shipping supplies from. I don't have any promo codes or anything like that from them. They're not a sponsor of this video. But hey, if they want to be, I would definitely give them a shout out if I got a discount with them. But these boxes will range anywhere from like $3 to $7, or if not more, depending on the amount that you buy. I don't ship Laserdiscs or records that often, so I'll generally only have maybe 5 to 10 kicking around at any time. I don't like carrying a ton of boxes lying around, just because the space that shipping supplies can take up, when I could use that shelf space to store say another couple items that I want to be able to resell to make more money. But yeah, it's when I would ship say a vinyl record or a Laserdisc, generally what I would do is I would take the disc out of the sleeve, grab a I don't have any additional ones kicking around my area at this time, but I'll just grab this other Laserdisc. A lot of my Laserdiscs I keep stored in not paper, but plastic sleeves. So that way it just helps them keep them in better condition while they're on the shelf. But generally when I would ship, say, a record, and the same goes for Laserdiscs, I would take it out of the cardboard case, and I would generally put a piece of bubble wrap on the on each side, put it on the top, and then I would put a layer of bubble wrap around all the sides, tape it to hold it all in place, put it inside that record mailer box, or pizza box as I tend to call them, and then I'd seal it all up to ship out. By putting the disc or the record out of the cardboard sleeve, and by cardboard sleeve I'm talking about the original packaging. By taking that out, you're preventing any additional damage happening to the actual these sleeves. I don't know if you've ever purchased a record or whatnot, but over time, the records especially will start protruding through the various sides and edges over time. And during shipping, that's going to more likely happen. So by shipping the disc or the record on top of the case, wrapped in bubble wrap, and then wrapping it all together in bubble wrap and putting it into a box, you're helping protect the original case a lot better. And by shipping it in additionally inside of a little paper sleeve, you're allowing the customer to better protect it while it's on their shelf as well. One thing to note with laser discs especially, same could be said for various video games, DVDs, HD DVDs, and so forth, is of laser rot. And it's one of the reasons why I rip test every single video game and every single DVD. It is very time consuming, but it just helps ensure that the item I'm actually selling can be fully read from start to finish. I have 2 optical drives here, I have another 2 in the middle here, and I have 2 in the computer itself. So I can essentially rip six discs at once. So essentially, like, by the time one finishes, I can put in another disc and so forth. And but not only testing every single disc before I ship it. Again, just peace of mind for me that the item that I'm selling should work in the buyer's personal equipment with no issues. In the case of some games, like say for the Xbox 360, I do an install test, which I've done a video for here on YouTube, so you can see that. And I believe I've done videos for how I rip and test Wii and Wii U games, which can also be done for GameCube games. Dreamcast games are a little different. I have to actually use a special boot disc to start up my Dreamcast, so that I can make use of an SD card dongle that I have on the back of my Sega Dreamcast, which allows me to, again, it's like whenever you can rip test an item on the devices themselves, the better. Like, I have modified PlayStation 3s. Like, this guy right here is one of my soft modded PS3s, which again allows me to use programs like MC Mon, which again is a program that will allow me to create a ISO image of the physical game disc onto a hard drive of the device. But again, it's a way for me to ensure that at least my personal equipment can read the disc from start to the finish with no issues. Programs like DVD Decryptor or Make MKV are great programs for ripping various movies. They work with Blu-rays, HD DVDs, audio CDs. I simply just use Windows Media Player and just tell it to make MP3s, and that works just fine. Let's see here. When it comes to the images, a lot of the times what I'll do is I'll take my scanner, which in this case is just my not my thermal printer, but my Brother laser printer, which I currently just have right here. I'm currently using it to hold a couple of laser discs, which I literally just showed, until I put them away. Well, let's take the case for the game and put it on top. I'll take the the artwork out, put it on top, and scan it. Take the discs out, scan them. Because I like being able to more accurately represent the items I'm actually selling, versus say somebody that's just going to take their iPhone or their Android phone out to take a couple pictures which are blurry, out of focus, and just poor quality in my opinion, and use those for their eBay images. I'd rather have nice high resolution images to better represent. Like when I list my comic books, I literally use my scanner. I'll scan the front and the back of the comic, as well as do a scan of it inside its bag and board. Again, so customers can actually zoom into a high resolution image and make, oh, okay, this comic looks pretty good. You know, it's got a few like, you know, hairline, you know, like fold marks on it. You know, it's not too bad. I want to make the guy an offer for this. You know, the higher the resolution the image, obviously the longer it'll take to upload to, say, eBay. But at the same time, the better quality image that you upload to eBay, the more accurately you can represent what you're actually selling. I also find using the eBay app on my Android phone or my iPhone or whatever phone or tablet I'm using is complete and absolute garbage. It takes me longer to list things using my phones and tablets than it does for me to do it on my computer. It could just be that I'm old and I'm, you know, it's a can't teach an old dog new tricks type thing. But I just prefer using my desktop computer versus using a mobile device. There are times for obviously things that are going to be too big to put onto my scanner, like say like a vinyl record or a Laserdisc. But that's when I'll just put it into my little photo booth area and take pictures that way. I generally would use a point and shoot camera. Sorry, I'm just a little tired. I was up to like 3 in the morning modifying listings I had on eBay. So let's see here. I don't know. What can I? If anybody's actually watching, if you have a question, please feel free to put it in the chat, and I'll try to answer it. Let's see here. What else is new? Oh, I got my Northern Lights desk pad from Linus Tech Tips. I will say that the courier they used, Fleet Optics, is probably the worst courier you could actually use. You know, it's nothing against LMG or LTT by any means, but I would have rather have paid a little bit more to use Canada Post, because that way I could have gone to the Canada Post a few blocks away to actually pick up the item if I missed their time that they dropped things off. So instead of, you know, this item came out of Richmond, British Columbia. This item literally is maybe like a 30-minute bus. It came from a place that's a 30-minute bus ride away from where I am, give or take. So the fact that it took 8+ days to get here to me from them, I thought it was kind of stupid. If they would have used Canada Post, you know, I could have had it in like 2 days, if not sooner. And by 2 days, I mean like 2 days once the courier got the package. And unfortunately, they decided to use Fleet Optics. And, you know, I'd love to order more stuff from LMG. Like, you know, I want to get another water bottle after mine melted. I say melted because the one company I was working for burned down, and they took my water bottle with them. But let's see here. The desk pad looks great. You know, it's literally like from over here to over here. It's like pretty much covers the good majority of my desk. Let me just grab my camera here. Yeah, it goes from there all the way over there. So it covers the majority of my desk. It's got a nice good thickness to it, so when I have my hands on my desk, you know, typing away, you know, it's comfortable. How it's going to look in, say, you know, a few months to a few years from now, we'll see how that goes. But if it's anything like my other mouse pad, you I'll probably have a few coffee spills on it so within that time. But I've been talking for about 45 minutes here, give or take, so I'm going to let everybody go. I want to appreciate you for watching this video. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If you got any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below, and I'll try to potentially make a video about them. But with that being said, letter mail does have risks associated with it. When you ship things with letter mail, there is obviously no tracking and no insurance. So the item gets lost in the mail or gets damaged in the mail, the customer is going to hold you, the seller, responsible for that. Even though they had the option to pay for tracked shipping at checkout and insured shipping at checkout, they're just going to still hold you responsible for their mistake or their unwillingness to pay for the tracking, pay for the insurance. So be careful of that. You will get people that say they never got their item. It happens more than I'd like to admit, and unfortunately it happened a fair bit during the holidays. I lost my top rated seller rating because of it, but what can I say? It's going to be easier to say offer free shipping up to a certain item value versus getting somebody to pay like $20+ to ship out a DVD. Very few people are going to spend that amount of money to ship out an item. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be careful how you ship. Thermal printers will pay for themselves. Trust me on that one. I'll talk to you all in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and eBay, Canadian Brick Cafe.